Namaste and welcome to this special show where we have a very special guest, a girl who started her journey from a very small village of district Murshidabad in West Bengal. And for last almost more than 20 years, she has been a yoga teacher, uh, meditation, a counselor, a teacher from school level to university level, and most importantly, a kind of cultural connect between India and Japan in the capital of Japan, Tokyo, where she proudly represents the her roots in India. It's the heritage of India, but still believes that there is a lot that can be done to connect India and Japan. Welcome Nupurji, and thank you for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So,
Namaste, namaskar.
Nupur Tiwari, please tell us what is this India-Japan Connect? What is the idea behind it? And then let us come to the conclave part. But
Okay.
where
So-
did it start, and why do you feel that there is a need to
There
connect
is a
India?
connection, yeah. So actually, I left India 2003. So I even didn't know even one word of Japanese at that time, and that was I thought when I landed in Japan, I felt that I connect with this land, but it was not my long-term plan being there. And the first thing actually, for the audience, the viewers, I would like to say that the moment I was in Japan, I was kind of I didn't have much money. So the first thought, can I just have that much money which I can immediately fly to India and see my parents? That is the concern of every, I think, Indian. They always, whenever they away from India. So being there, I want to just make it short that I, fortunately, unfortunately, I feel that this is the conspiracy of Mahadev, who I believe in. So I never lived in a place like very comfort zone. I lived in place where no other Indian were there. So only Japanese and the spiritual places. Like I started from Shikoku Island. Shikoku is the most spiritual island in Japan. So I started from there, and the quietness.
That time you were working with Mitsubishi.
Yeah, that time actually, yeah, I was. Then I left actually job. Then the quietness of the place, the way they treat people, the kindness, the humbleness, everything made me fall in love with with that culture, and that made me go to the shrines and temple. And I started just discovering that how much connect we have, because I am from a very traditional family, very much Vedic family I'm from. So since my childhood, I know all these things. So I started finding the connection between India, Japan that time. But I never had planned doing what I am doing today. But I started learning, and I thought that I really want to know this culture, the soul of this culture, Japan. It's not like, oh, I am in Japan, wearing a kimono and like that. So I just participated all the local things, made local friends, did dine with them, and started going to shrines and temples, and started learning Zen, and definitely all the Shintoism. What their Shintoism is totally Hinduism. What their actual the culture of the land. So it started from there, and eventually I felt another very funny incident I should tell you. So when I went to a high school there in Shikoku Island, Matsuyama, and I said I'm from India, and so the teacher said she's an Indian, and even the high school level kids, they started doing like red Indian. I felt so bad. I felt, no, this cannot happen. The culture of this land, almost 90% culture, came from India, and these people even don't know about Bharat. That really broke me. Like, I felt like this is whatever I know, my upbringing, my whatever I know, I should just teach them. And then, since very early age, I started doing yoga. Yoga was my kind of weapon. I immediately, voluntarily, I started teaching yoga there. I said, that is the thing, and you, when you know actual yoga, not only Hatha Yoga, the 6 kind of yoga, then you know Bharat. You know, everything is there. So I started teaching straight away, voluntarily, at the International Center. I started teaching yoga. I said, I have to spread my culture. And when people ask me that lot of questions about Bharat, I felt that I need to study more. I felt that responsibility.
Yes, yes.
The moment you cross the border, that's why today I tell every Bharatiya, the moment you cross the border, it is your responsibility to know your country more, because you have to represent. Yeah. So I felt that pressure to know my country more. And I would say definitely I knew my country, my culture, Bharat, actual culture of Bharat, but I felt like still I know very less. I started reading about more and more, started studying. So this is the way, and the connect I felt, that the way Bharat connected with Japan before Buddhism, because they have 7 god and most important god and goddesses. 5 are from India, from Bharat. So I felt nobody knows about it. You know, so I felt that urge that I have to work on that. I have to work on that. So everywhere, wherever I moved, the almost 7 places I have lived in Japan, everywhere especially my main thing in yoga, but still I did a lot of cooking classes, everything voluntarily. Cooking, the whatever I knew, bringing people whoever knew the music and everything, the Japanese even, doing events to spread my culture, because people knew a little bit about the curry, naan, and Bollywood, a bit of, So I said that, of course, that is a maybe soft power of India, but that's not India. That's not India.
Much more than that.
Much more than that. Much more than that. And I felt a lot of responsibility. And as I was talking, that I feel that, Bhagwan ne mujhe, gave me the responsibility. So eventually I just kept doing when the Kumamoto, that I moved in another island, that's Kyushu island, and the Kumamoto earthquake happened there, that I started healing program through yoga. So I feel that a responsibility given to me, I just kept doing. Those are all volunteer things. And I was looking for something which I do through yoga, and I serve my motherland. And so I never charged anyone, whatever the contribution used to come, I kept giving here. The people who couldn't pay their fees, some small school I built in Aligarh, these kind of things I just kept doing. So I feel that then eventually, few years ago, during Corona, I started online meditation program. An online meditation program, when I started, somebody told me, why don't you start your talk show, which will actually a lot of positivity, you can spread that. And I just started my talk show. That was first Indian talk show. I started, the people I knew, started inviting them, talking about India, Japan, and it became the Nupur Tiwari show. And very recently, 5 months ago, I feel I have to take it to a different level. Started the first magazine between India, Japan, Connect India, Japan. And this is the first magazine, exclusive magazine between India, Japan, and that is bilingual too. And God wants me to do more. All of a sudden, I thought my responsibility, I should do more about these 2 countries.
So where do you find this connect? You said 90% of the culture is influenced by Bharat. So where do you find this similarity? And still, why Japan is perceived as a more organized, disciplined, developed country compared to Bharat? So where is this gap? Means, there are civilizational linkages, there have been cultural give and take, perhaps this original idea of ekam sad vipra bahudha vadanti, maybe multiple ways to reach to the same truth or God, that is perhaps one of the biggest strength, but still culturally we see the way Japan has developed itself in the post World War era is perceived to be very Western, and so how means you have been there for more than 20 years now. So how do you see this
Their similarities.
the similarities, and how does maybe common Japanese maintain that balance between their traditionality and the Western modern life?
Very, very beautiful question you did. So you that is actually the, I feel that, see, our Gurukul system. Gurukul system, actually, even the Ramakrishna mission also, if you go, Swami Vivekananda started that. They do everything by themselves, and you will find the same thing in Japan. Totally. They, since the very early age, they tie their shoelaces, they eat by themselves, they clean their room, they clean their schools. So the entire Gurukul thing is there, which we lost.
So the Western ideas related to labor laws and child labor have not
No, not there still. But definitely you cannot beat them.
no, that's fine, but
Yeah.
even nowadays you find it difficult even to tell some work to your own kid, the way we are seeing influence of the Western
Exactly.
thing.
So actually, see, Japan went through a lot of transformation. There was time when the West really started coming, and Japan stopped that. They said Buddhism is and the Shintoism will be the one. So wherever you will go in Japan, you will find one Shinto shrine, one Buddhist temple, side by side. They go to both the places. And the Shinto says God is everywhere, just like us. So God is everything and everywhere, and that is the core philosophy of our land, us, right? So when they find God is everywhere, they respect everything, which we kind of lost it because of the Western influence, unfortunately. So the Western influence started coming, of course, before Second World War in Japan, but they did not lose their culture, because Japan is the island country, so they were closed for a long time from outside world, where they kept totally their own culture. Though Western philosophy started coming, but still they kept their own culture. And that is if you know the ikigai, people really talk about ikigai a lot. This has become really a best-selling book. But Japanese consciously they don't follow ikigai. This is in their lifestyle. Like, you do by everything. You have to be ethical. You have to be kind. You follow rules. This is the thing. Like unfortunately, we feel breaking the rules kind of, it makes you cool. Unfortunately, in Bharat, बहुत सारे, lot of things.
No, I see it differently, Nupurji. See, please try and understand. Most of the laws, I'm not saying rules, most of the laws in India are actually colonial constructs.
Yeah, that is the thing. Yeah.
And if you see our freedom struggle, we have developed a psyche that, challenging those laws is essentially a part of our freedom struggle.
True.
So one, we have ingrained that. Two, if traditionally, the so-called illiterate,
Yeah.
we have developed so much in English, and now we are communicating also in English.
Yeah.
The common mass is still in India, beyond 5%. Nobody bothers what is happening in English, but most of our laws, most of our things, and they are so negative in nature. You should not do that, you should not do this. Everywhere there is a signboard of no parking.
Yeah, true.
But they never tell you where you should park.
Very right, very right.
So people prefer to park there only. What do you expect?
True.
So it is so British, in the approach.
You're
So
right.
I have, but anyways.
Going back to your
Yeah.
question, the
So
similarities.
what are the similarities that you
Yes.
see culturally, and why do you say that 90% of Japan is influenced by?
Because similarities, I don't see that today's, I talking about the after British, our colonial time or British era. No, there is no similarities. But when it comes to our yogic, Vedic original philosophy, there are 90%. There are more than 90% similarities are there. They're totally of, they modified it their way, because the culture from India to China, China to Japan. So they had to modify it their way. And they also had their own bloodshed, because samurai and all those things. So it was kind of, they had to, before Buddhism, as I said, before Buddhism, Hinduism went there. So many god and goddess, Mata Saraswati there, Lakshmi there, Ganesha is there, lot more, even, not even discovered. They worship them with different name. But we are not aware of it. We are aware of our neighboring country like Thailand, Cambodia and all those countries, but we are not aware of Japan. Though we are so close, but we are very far. So why, and that is the reason, and I'm sure that you know that Swami Vivekananda said that every Indian should come to Japan once in a lifetime to see how organized and disciplined they are. So that organization and the discipline skill came from our original culture. If you go to Gurukul, our traditional culture, what we are, Bharat is, which is making you totally Atmanirbhar, which is actually today Modi ji made it very popular, fortunately, and we are very lucky. But that is Atmanirbharta come from that tradition, our Vedic tradition, and that Atmanirbharta which is actually Japan carries. That Atmanirbharta, and that is the reason they are so Atmanirbhar since the very beginning. Even after Second World War also, they were not dependent on anyone. They had that Atmanirbhar, we can do it by ourselves. So this is actually when even the Corona time, very inside story I'm telling you. When the Corona happened, then Abe-san was the Prime Minister at that time. Late, he's no more with us, but he called all the big companies and said, what you can contribute at that time. Someone was making mask, someone was making this plastic, that kind of barrier between two people. Everybody contributed, but with silently. People outside, nobody knew who is doing what. But everybody contributed. That Atmanirbharta that we don't need from outside, we can do it by ourselves. That started not only after Second World War. Why they had to do it very visibly? Because they had nothing. I interviewed, I have interviewed people who had actually, they are dependent on rice. They love rice. Every day they have to have 3 times rice. People say like even 15 days, only once we used to eat rice. That kind of situation they had. So that time it was kind of, they had no choice. But it is not after Second War. They were Atmanirbhar much before that. So this is, I think, which is the soul or the core culture of us, Vedic culture, which actually our gurus taught us. I think that is the base of Japanese culture, Atmanirbharta, and believe in themselves. And of course, as you go to Japan, still the engineering, medical, all the books are in Japanese. The primary language is Japanese, but still they are so, even if you go to Korea, they speak English. If you go to, but Japan is still a country which is actually, they still believe in their language. They were trying to be global, but still they kept their language the first language. Everyone is, speak the same language.
Yeah, it's only in our intelligentsia and academics that we have developed this mindset that without English, nobody can be modern.
Exactly.
Nobody can be advanced.
True. That is the thing. So that similarity, what I said, 90% similarity, that come from, I think, our Vedic culture, which actually they modified and they made it very strong in their, totally daily lives. When you're Atmanirbhar, it's not like tying only shoes or, you are earning for yourself. Atmanirbhar is more about believing in yourself.
Yeah.
It is, like you can do it. And that is ingrained in that culture. I think that they took.
We have that in our spiritualism, in our rituals.
Totally.
But when it comes to our material manifestation, we many times forget about it. But how are you helping both these countries to connect with each other? What are the issues that you feel that can. One is of course you are Connect India Japan,
Yeah.
that publication that you have started.
Yes.
But what are the other ways you feel that?
Um,
Because I feel that being a media person, we are so obsessed with the Western media. We always want to know what BBC is saying, what New York Times is saying, but we are
Nobody
hardly
talks
bother which Japanese
saying.
media houses has so much of catchment area, so big influence in entire East and Southeast Asia, and still we don't bother.
True. Like the example I will give you, a few months ago, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Suga, he came with a delegation. No Indian media ever covered that. If any of the senator is coming from, any normal senator is coming from US, all the media will gaga. And Mr. Suga came and nobody actually knew about it. No media did it. So this is the again example I gave you. So here, another thing which actually the China, the Japanese, almost 20,000 companies China has. India has 1,400. Why is that? Only 1,400 companies there. Number one. Number two, from last so many years, lot of MSME is coming to me, take me to India. But again, they're like, take me to India, but that the gap. Should I go to? I cannot. We cannot. We don't know, because they feel that cultural difference. They feel that Indians may be doing only jugaad. That is the only thing I think we have promoted a lot, jugaad thing. So, and this is somewhere I feel that we have to work really hard, and which is our present government also doing, and that to convince them that we are here, you won't be cheated. We are not only, jugaad can be, very beneficial for you and for us too, and jugaad is not only one thing we do. So here is our tradition coming. We, after
No,
5.
and jugaad is also not essentially cheating. It is more
No.
indigenous kind of innovation.
It is not cheating, but yeah, it is not cheating, but they feel sometimes, that trust is not there, kind of, because there are a lot of previous past experiences they have, So the thing is that there are still a lot of gap. But
No, it's not about Japan. When it comes to, especially during the UPA period, I know many of the projects in Myanmar, in Vietnam, when it comes to the delivery, signing agreement is one part.
Exactly.
As Prime Minister Modi was talking about it yesterday, there were certain projects 60 years old,
Yeah.
30 years old, 15 years old,
Yeah.
but this government has completed them. When it comes to delivery, there have been problems, and we must accept it.
Yeah.
But my point is, how are you taking initiatives in
Okay.
ensuring this connect or
So-
developing mutual trust?
Yes. So developing mutual trust, I'm doing of course, one is Connect India Japan magazine, which is the first magazine between two countries. This is one. Secondly, what we are doing, we are bringing a lot of Japanese from students, because students is the future generation, which will bridge the gap between two countries. So I'm bringing a lot of students here, which they will see India, new India. It's not the India their fathers used to know. So new India, they are becoming more interested about our tradition, like yoga, Ayurveda, and all those things. This is another thing. Secondly, MSM is coming. They want to see India, how the India is working. So MSME coming here, they will understand what product they can sell, what kind of joint venture they can do. Number 3. Number 4, I'm taking a lot of interviews of the which actually never happened, as you said that Indian media never talks about Japan. So I'm taking the interviews of Indian CEOs in Japan, which actually nobody knows. If one person is becoming CEO at West, people talk about, wow, that company CEO. In Japan, there are Japanese company. Let me tell the viewers that becoming a Japanese company is some bigger post. It's like so difficult. You have no idea about it. So the people who are doing well there, CEO and CTO.
They're not just carrying the brands of IITs and IIMs,
yeah.
but they have worked hard
My
and created niche for them in the Japanese culture.
Japanese culture, totally different because we are used to with West, America's culture. But Japanese culture being used to there and just delivered the 100% because they believe in quality, Japan. So they are the excellent,
Yeah,
but
for the
nobody
entire
knows.
5S thing and entire parameters, the
Totally, totally,
perfectionist kind of
totally.
thing.
So few names I would like to say here for the definitely viewers, like Dr. Lake Juneja. He's the CEO of entire the snack company, one of the biggest snack company of Japan. He's taking care of the entire thing. I took his interview. Vivek Mahajan. He's the CTO of Fujitsu, the global Fujitsu. Nobody knows about him. I even told him, "Do you know what? You are one of the most successful Indian in global places." He said, "Oh, really?" Kind of that humbleness is coming in those people also. So I would say I'm taking initiative of taking interviews of all those people to take them to India and the Indian youth. So because from now, I think Japan is the country where our youth because Japan, another thing which actually we have to emphasize that Japan offers lot of scholarships which actually we don't know, our youth don't know. So we are working that to let them know, let's come to Japan. And then of course this is my brainchild of Rising Sun Conclave, which we are going to do on 13th, which is
I'll come to it.
Uh-huh.
Just before talking about the conclave, how far, because you have started various shows, you are doing various connect programs, you have started this magazine also during India's Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, 75 years of independence.
Yeah.
You virtually had a flag in tricolor on Japanese streets, and you had a march also. So how far the initiatives and the policies of the Modi government is helping out in changing this perception in Japan?
a lot, a lot. Actually, because
Because Modi and Abe
Yeah.
was a known friendship,
Exactly.
but after that,
Uh-huh.
how far this perception is changing, and how far India's
Perception.
perception has become positive? What are
Yeah.
the
So this is lot of in last 20 years since I lived in 7 places in Japan. Like I told you that they thought I'm from America, Native American. So from there, the now people respect India. Not only in Tokyo, because Tokyo people they know they're quite commercial life, they know that. The other part of Japan also people know about India, how great India is doing. They are more interested to invest in India. They are the normal people also, they call me and say your prime minister is doing so great. Your prime minister, we had a just with my Japanese friends. There's some entrepreneurs, so we had a just normal informal party, and someone is saying that we need someone like Mr. Modi in our country who will just that inject that we should more believe in ourselves. So lot of positive things are coming up, lot of positive ideas or influence after Mr. Modi, came in power, and even though, as you can see, even the business leaders also coming here, but from local people also, they started respecting India. It's not only curry naan, it's not only IT, it beyond that, because IT is another addition. People think India means IT. Of course, that's a good thing though, but beyond that also, we have lot to offer. We have Ayurveda, we have yoga, we have our tradition, we have different kind of businesses, from just like Japan, from tradition to modern, today's business. So now people have not only India, India is like people who are in their 90s, they say India is heaven. So if you go to India, your life will be changed, right? You'll become spiritual. That is the thing. That is the way. Land of Buddha, land of maybe before that. I would say
maybe land of Ganesha.
Ganesha. Yeah. So this is the way they used to think. Now, with that, the India is land of opportunity. It is becoming. So people they developed a respect, deep respect for Indians. That you are intelligent, so that happened. Mr. Modi, we are very grateful to our Prime Minister. He's, really his leadership made the so many times he just went to Japan and spread that. Though Japan, not like Indian media, they don't talk like everywhere about those things, but still, even though they're quite conservative media also, but still the normal people, they know about India, they know about Mr. Modi. This is a very, very, very big change actually from last 20 years. And as I said, that I never lived with only the Indian community, I live with Japanese community. So the normal people feedback I'm giving you. So it is amazing.
So
So what
from
I see.
2002-3 when you
Three
went
to
first
today,
time, yeah, to
2023.
till today you see a
Yeah.
lot of change. Now let us come to the conclave. So Nupur is organizing a conclave called Rising Sun Conclave. You know, the significance and the centrality of sun in both India and Japan is very important. So Nupur, what is the idea behind this conclave?
So,
One, and then how do you plan to, or which are the issues that you want to touch upon while doing this?
yeah. So this is actually, most of the conclave which is are done by mostly on business. We don't touch the culture at all. So since I'm a spiritual person, I wanted it to be like everything, the wrap up, everything. India, Japan, not only business, because if you want to do business, culture becomes very important. Because Ayurveda is our culture, but that can be business as well. Agarbatti is our culture. That can be business as well. And especially if you go to Japan, if you want to do business with Japan, that you have to know the culture. How to just exchange a name card, greeting, everything. The culture is very important there. So this is the reason I thought it has to be a package. People should know everything. And this is kind of, as I explained that it is a very crazy idea of mine, my passion that I will make it happen. So we have spiritual, a discussion. We have why Indian media is not covering, Japan. That discussion. We have trade and business. What Japan is doing. What opportunities are there. We have startup. We have about defense talk also. So we have people to people connection talk. That is very important. Then when you have the interest, then the business will come. So I think we are just covering every aspect of India, Japan, from spirituality to defense. Everything we are covering, and here fortunately we are very lucky. We have got great speakers and panelists there who can represent India and Japan, both the countries, from both the countries. I think 50-50 it would be. So we will be covering all the aspect of India, Japan. We have, and the first time we are going to give the award of people who contributed a lot in this 75 years actually. So that is the first time award we are going to recognize them, that they have contributed. And in the end, networking, dinner networking with Indian music and the Japanese music. So especially the musicians are coming from Japan.
Great.
Especially. And you will see that those who are holding great posts like Japan Foundation, JETRO, the head of JETRO, Japan Foundation, they will be singing.
Oh.
So this is wonderful. They will be panelists also in the daytime, and in the evening they will be singing. So this is wonderful thing that from business from spirituality, business, defense, and then the music, the culture also comes.
So what do you expect out of this? Is it going to be the one-off event? You want to institutionalize it?
Oh, this is just love of my country, my Bharat and Japan. This is a yearly event. We are going to do every year this conclave, and we are going to break it and make it like defense talk, business talk, and people to
talk.
exactly civilizational talk, and people can, even the viewers can suggest us what we should do, and we will be doing online, offline, both from now onwards. So it would be the, it is never stop. Like we will take a lot of feedback from the viewers, what they want to know. We'll be having people to people connection. We'll be doing the education talk also. So for the education, the special, we'll talk like how people, the especially Indian students, can benefit from Japanese universities. That would be there. So we'll break it, and every very soon we'll be starting with your help that very divided talk on every subject between India Japan. So that is, we don't want anything to be untouched. We're going to cover everything. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, Nupurji, and sparing your time and talking to Organiser. I'm sure many of the viewers would be inspired by your this interaction and the kind of insights that you have given about India-Japan relationship. So viewers, one lady from a very small town in the Murshidabad district of West Bengal traveled to Japan, lived in 7 cities of Japan, considers herself an unofficial ambassador of India, cultural ambassador of India, if precisely, if I have to mention. And one wonderful thing that she is trying to do is she is trying to connect her Janma Bhumi with her Karma Bhumi. So this India-Japan conclave, or the Rising Sun conclave, is going to be a very important landmark in what she is trying to do, connect India and Japan. So I request whoever is interested, please do register. We are sharing the official links with you. Do support. It will be on 13th of March in India International Center, New Delhi. So whichever way you can participate and support this Rising Sun Conclave, you are most welcome. Organiser is going to be a media partner there in this entire event. So I request you, whoever wants to give substance to what India has been proposing, from looking east to acting east, this is what Nupur is doing, acting east for India. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks a lot.